New York Congresswoman and progressive superstar, if you want to call her that, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went viral yesterday. This was after followers noticed that her pronouns were missing from her X profile. So where did they go? Well, 2 years ago, she apologized for not having them, claiming, quote, they fell off. What does that mean? Words don't just fall. But there was no apology this go around at a time when many are blaming gender issues for the Democrats' big election defeats last week, including a New York Times op-ed. It's fascinating. You've got to read it. This was a liberal writer who wrote this, nevertheless, that Democratic voters felt betrayed by the Biden administration. Quote, they resent being labeled anti-trans for questioning whether it's right to simply accept what their children say about their gender, especially since those children often suffer from other mental health issues. Tommy, this writer, Pamela Paul, was fascinating. She goes on to say this, that more than 14,000 American children had gender-related medical interventions between 2019 and 2023. And while much of Europe has been pulling back from gender affirmation model, evidence has emerged that in the U.S., proponents of this approach have let politics color the science. And she goes on to cite a government researcher who had findings that went against gender-affirming care and buried them.
And that study was really important, too, because it was to study the mental health impacts on those that were transitioning. And when it turned out that they didn't have positive mental health impacts 2 years down the road, then she wanted to bury that study that we wasted taxpayer dollars on, by the way. But I would also argue that there are many in the United States who are figuring out that this social experiment of transitioning your minor children, it's a failed social experiment with lifelong repercussions. If you ever talk to somebody, and I have many times, who's trying to detransition, they'll tell you their life is hell. They are hooked on drugs for the rest of their life because of the surgeries that they've had, because of puberty blockers, because of any type of surgeries they've done to their bodies. They will forever be scarred from this. So I think now the American people, not just Republicans and conservatives, are starting to take a look at this and say, this was a failed social experiment. We want to distance ourselves from this. It doesn't have anything to do with adults choosing to be trans. You can do whatever you want. But when it comes to kids, the line has been drawn. And I think that that's a great step forward.
It is. And, you know, Seth Moulton Harris, he said this, Democrats spend way too much time trying not to offend rather than being brutally honest about the challenge many Americans face. I have 2 little girls. I don't want them getting run over on a playing field by a male or formerly male athlete. But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that. He got a ton of backlash for that very lucid, candid remark, Harris. And here he is on Morning Joe describing that backlash.
The backlash I've received proves my point that we can't even have these discussions as a party. Instead, we have a wing of our party that shames us, that tries to cancel people who even bring up these difficult topics, and frankly, shames voters. This is the same group of people who told us to defund the police, who told us that there wasn't a problem at the southern border, who told us that inflation was transient, whatever that means, and who told us that Biden was just fine. And they're out of touch with voters.
Harris.
Yeah, you know, part of the backlash against Seth Moulton ought to include the fact that he actually voted or did not vote against the Trans Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got more than a sketchy past on whether or not he really believes what he's saying now. He has an opposite voting record for it. So, I mean, everybody's going to flex now from the left. They want to make sure that they're voting with the right people in silence until it comes time to run again, and then hopefully nobody will remember what they've done in the past.
Their votes are was, were now, like AOC's pronouns, right? Was, were now?
Yeah.
Just pass.
Harris
over.
with the receipts on a Friday. I love that. Ben, to your point, look, the New York Times interviewed several undecided voters, and one who was 25 years old said she became radicalized when she saw that infamous commercial about Kamala's for they, them, I'm for you. And she said, I don't like Trump, but I voted on the side of normalcy.
Yeah, it was an issue that they went just way too far on. And when you saw the videos that started coming out, Vanderbilt was a great example of this. I think that was a flashpoint for parents when they saw that. And they're like, hey, you have to get on board with these surgeries for children because it makes us a lot of money. And if you don't do it, you're basically going to be excommunicated from the healthcare industry at Vanderbilt. And when those videos came out and people were like, wow, this is not childcare. This is about a guaranteed paycheck for life because of the puberty blockers and all the other expensive drugs. And this was a radical idea from the left. They're ruining kids' lives. They were taking them as experiments instead of actually being good parents and good doctors to these kids. No one should be cutting and mutilating a child under 18, period. And I think we're going to see that change quickly.
And Kennedy, in the post-mortem meeting among Democrats, there were Democrats outraged at Chuck Schumer on this issue. $77 million is what the GOP poured into the trans issue.
So I'm going to push back a little bit because my youngest daughter wants to be a federal law enforcement officer. So I got her a gun and a German Shepherd because that's how she identifies. And I set her loose on the streets of New York City. And she's arresting people left and right because you know what? She's a cop, all right? My child is a cop because she wants to be a cop. No, that's not how it is. And one of the German studies said we have to treat children wholly. We can't just look at this one issue in this one area of identification. It's unkind. We have to look and see what the greater mental health issues are, because for so many kids, it is an epidemic, and we have to treat the mental health first and get them out of pain and the suffering that they are experiencing, and then you can treat the gender stuff non-surgically.
Yeah, you know, Democrats love talking about Team Normal. Well, it turned out that 76 million people saw Team Normal as the right. All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.